All right, welcome to the second video. We're going to go over the community tools after we've shown basically on the tutorial. You can listen to this while you're waiting for your tutorial to get through because it's going to take 6 hours to start the next step. But if you go to the main page, they have a handbook here called the handbook, and it has tutorials, it has a wiki, and lore. So the tutorials is basically something that I went through and I was reading as I was going through the tutorial to figure out what the hell was happening. They have some cool videos for you to watch from YouTube. You can actually watch these videos inside the game itself. It's pretty interesting. So the first thing we need to talk about is licenses. So it's free to play, but you have the option of buying a license that will allow you to access to more mechanics in the game. For instance, you can't create custom contracts without a license. One of the things, the quality of life things, is that I don't have to manually put in queues. So as a free-to-play player, you have to manually add the queue order as you go. But that gets very unwieldy as you grow, and I highly recommend it for just this ability alone. It reduces your amount of clicks you have to do by even more. So if you just supply your base for 5 days and have your reoccurring queues, you don't have to check in for 5 days if you want to. It's pretty nice. So talking about the second base, at first you're gonna be limited by capital. So each of the buildings you cost around 10,000, 20,000 credits. So you can double up your rat production pretty easily in the beginning, but eventually you're going to be limited by area. So each of the bases, you can have one base on a planet. Each of the planets can only have one base. And the first permit that you get is 500 land area. The second permit you put on a base is 750, and the third one is 1,000. And you can only have 3 permits per base. And to get more permits, you need to upgrade your HQ. So you start the game with 2 permits, and as a free-to-play player, you can get to HQ level 5. That will give you 6 permits. So you can put 3 permits in one base and 3 permits in another base. And you have to supply both of them with all those consumables and stuff. So that's not too bad. You have 2 ships, and you only have to click on them once per day anyways, so it's not really a limiting factor. But you're going to be limited by capital at first. And as you grow, you need to, like, those bases cost a lot because you're making $5,000 per day, and the buildings cost 10,000 to 20,000 in materials. So you can only build one building per every few days and stuff. So if you screw up, that's 4 days shot. So you want to have something to be able to plan ahead. And that's where we can go to community resources. So this wiki also has a lot of good information. I highly recommend to read it. I've never read this. Maybe you would like to read the lore. But we're going to start with the spreadsheets. So the first thing we're going to talk about is FIO. The game itself doesn't really have many API endpoints as far as I'm aware. But what this is a Chrome extension here that if you log in, you'll be able to pull information from this browser. So I believe they use React.js, and it uses those elements to capture that data and then create an API endpoint for the community to use with other tools. So one of those is spreadsheets. So we're going to go ahead and click on the spreadsheet. So this is a view only. You can go ahead and click on File and make a copy. So we cannot edit the original. And my internet's slow today. All right, so the sum form we're trying to send and receive data for X parties. That's exactly what we want to happen. So we want to allow access here. Okay, so lots of stuff on the screen. We're going to go very slowly. First off, you can choose which planet you're looking at. So we are in VH331A, that's Promontory. VH331 is called Hortus. That's what the entire system is called. And each of the planets, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all have a name too. And then, so you can select Avalon, which is G, if we want to, and it will update this to show what materials it is. So that's what's one of the good things about this. So let's look at Promontory. So we have a fertility bonus of 12%. You can also choose which exchange you're looking at. You can look at the average, the ask, or the bid. I'm just looking at the ask for now, but the average is also good. It allows you to see the concentration, and then you can choose what kind of luxuries you want. So if we're not choosing any, we get that 79%. If you do one of the luxuries, you get 87%. If you do both of them, you get 100%. And then we choose how many halves we have. We start out with 2. And then we can look at the COG bonus. So this one has a COG bonus to agriculture. And then on Avalon, we have food industries. We don't have any experts in agriculture, so we'll just go ahead and get rid of that. And then we have two experts in food industries. And as you get more experts, that will increase your efficiency. Okay, so we currently don't have any luxuries, as we were seeing. We have one rig, one food processor, and one farm. Another thing we can do is if you work in a communist commune and you sell, let's say, drinking water for 40 credits instead of the exchange rate of 50 or 89.4, then you can override these exchange values to allow you to see what your profit is. So currently, if we look at here, we're not making any drinking water, so we're going to go ahead and delete that, and we're making 100% on rats, all right? And this is the breakdown of the inefficient high grain carbs, high carb grains and high protein beans and triglyceride fruits. That's what it's called. And this is the breakdown of that. So this is how much time is allotted to each of these. This should equal 100%. And the H2O is also running at 8%. Now, if you wanted to look at other recipes instead of just the Pioneer ones, you can select these as well to see what is available to you to build, and you can compare them and stuff, but we're only using Pioneers for now. So these are all the Pioneer only recipes, and you can compare these for ROI. So the lowest one is 9.44. I know there's an issue at the moment because the exchange, I believe someone bought all of the RCOs off the market, so this is going to be a little tricky right now. But as you can see, you can compare the two if you want to just build one of these. And then you can see all of your inputs and outputs, and then you see your balances. So this setup right now that we have is creating 3.47 of each of the veggies. And then it's this is what it requires, and this is what we're outputting. So we have a balance of this. So every 4 days, we'll have an extra bean. It's going to be great. And then for H2O, we can see that we're using 12.14 instead of 28. So we're using less than half of our water output. So you're like, well, Chris, if we're using less than half, why don't we use more? And I agree with you. So we're going to take here. So let's say we wanted to get this flimsy $4,000 net profit. And we were like, okay, what can we do to increase this profit per day? So first of all, we can start supplying our luxuries, and that alone will get us to 5,000. So you can see it's almost a 25% increase in net profit just by supplying those pioneers with everything they need. Another thing is what our water collection of one can supply 2 farms and 2 food processors. So if we go and look at our inputs and outputs here, we can see that we're inputting 29 or 30, and we're outputting this. We have a balance of 5.5. We still have our veggies are doing great, and now we've gone from 40 rations to 75 rations. We need more drinking water, and then we have a problem though, is because we don't have enough capacity for our Pioneer, so we're gonna have to build a third HB1 as well, and now that should be clearing out any of the problems we have. Okay, so we're using 8.4 instead of 4.8, I believe it was before. And then we increase all of our burn rates, but this is definitely well worth it to increase our ration or edible ratio, or edible creation to 87. So this allows us to get a profit of 10,000 per day. So just by making simple changes like that, we can double our profit. And this is enough. This is the build that you want to use at first. You can easily build this with your starter funds, but from there you're going to need capital to really increase. So another thing you can look at is possibly, we know that the cog bonus for agriculture is on Promontory, but what if we wanted to also get a cog bonus for food industries? Avalon is a planet in Hortus that will give you that cog bonus. So we can split out these food processors farms, give us more space to put in farms and water collection, and just make full rations on that other planet and stuff. We can also include drinking water. What if we wanted to also include drinking water and rations and stuff? These are all things you can use these spreadsheets to plan out and look at your ROI and how long will it take you to make that money back after you've built it and stuff. So this one's a little raw. It only allows for one base. There's not really a way to look at two bases. So there's another community tool we can use to plan out multiple bases that will work together. So you can supply one planet with veggies or water and then bring in rations and whatnot. So let's look at so those are spreadsheets. No. Prune Planner. All right, so Prune Planner is, I think, a much more palatable place to go to. So you're going to go to management. First, you're going to set up FIO to go in here. I'm not going to go inside of FIO because it's going to show my FIO key, and I don't want to show my FIO key, which I've already done and had to repeat this video. So you need to create an empire. So you can create multiple empires to be able to compare them to see, like, okay, I have my current empire. How much would it compare to if I have a different setup with different buildings? I'll show you how to do that. So let's go have the current plan, current empire. So you're going to select your faction because each of these factions will give you a different bonus. And we are only using one permit at the moment. And we want to look at our FIO storage. So this will show you which plans you have. You also need to create an exchange because if you don't have exchange, it needs to be able to compare. This is going to be the IC1. So we need to go ahead and set that up. So we want to look at the ask. Or let's just do the average. So we're going to go ahead and create that. And save. We don't have a planet. We don't have a planet at the moment. So now we need to put plans. We need to have base management. So we're going to go ahead and search for a planet. We're going to go to VH331A, which is Promontory. Make sure that this is the correct one. And we're going ahead and create a plan. This is much similar to the other spreadsheet. So you want to give a name. So this is our starter base. We're using 500 area. We want to go ahead and make sure we get these luxury bonuses here. We need 2 HP1s. That's what we currently have. We need 1 rig. So if we collect here, this matched here, it will show you which buildings get that bonus. So we have 1 farm. And then the other buildings do not have that. So we need a rig. And then we need a food processor. Okay, so our rig is going to have water. Our farm is going to have the inefficient beans. The high carb grain, the inefficient version. And then the veggies. There's only one version of veggies we can do. So there's no money coming in here because we haven't had an exchange. We have to assign an exchange to our empire. So go down here and click on this and save it. And then we have a starter base and it's assigned to our current empire. So let's go back to our starter base. Now you can see that these numbers are all populated, so we can see exactly what our burn rate is. And then we go ahead and put our rations in. This is not the same setup as the games, but it's all right. You can compare all these profits and what the ROI is for not nuts, veggies. So we can see what we have here. And you want to make sure you put in your experts. So we have 2 experts. And then the max is 5. You can see it's a very large difference. So you really want experts in there as much as possible. So you can pair experts to see what your number's in, and everything updates immediately for you. Okay, so this is getting us $5,642.83. So let's say we wanted to increase our farms here, and then that will immediately bump it up here. So the question is like, okay, I want to build this. What do I need to build? So we already have 1 farm, 1 food processor. We already have a rig. And we already have 2 of these. All right, and we already have a core module. Every base needs a core module. So we need 1 food processor, 1 here. We're also going to need an HB1. This will tell you exactly what you need and exactly what it's going to cost, $60,000. So each of these buildings is about $20,000. And it tells you exactly what the resources is you need to build those. So you need this to build these buildings. You can also look at the supply cart. So let's say you want to stock your base with 10. And you have a stock of 4, you have 70 drinking water, 6 OVE, and 3 PW. It tells you exactly what you need to buy to have 10 days of requirements and how much cash it's going to require. It's very easy to use. So let's go ahead and save the plan. And then what you can do is you can say, you know what, I want to try to do, and you have a main base where you can see your profit, your revenue. You can increase the amount of permits because I believe the efficiency goes down when you do here. And then if you go to management, you can create, you can clone this and you say, you know what, I want to see if I can max out my rations. So max rations. So you go ahead and refresh this. And it tells you what you can assign it to the empire. So let's go ahead and create a second. So let's say maximum rations on Promontory. We're going to use Hortus. And we're going to up the permits to 3. Okay, so we're going to put here, we got to make sure we have an exchange for that empire. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with 1,000 land area. Since I've already kind of messed around with this, I kind of already know how you can max out rations with just this. We're going to need 8 rigs. We're going to need 16 farms. And we're going to need 18 food processors. All right, and then I believe we need 18 HP1s. So we're using 1760. We need 3 permits here, and let's I guess we can just keep it like that. So so we're using enough water. Let's try 5 experts. Something's wrong. Using way too many veggies. Let's try 2, 2, and 1. So we have 1 resource collector. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now we're creating enough veggies to input. We have enough water here, and we're making we're using all the correct amount of land. So this is the maximum amount of land. Can't really put more. Yeah. So if you do 1 more food processor, you're not have enough veggies, and you can't have another farm because you go over. So this will allow you to maximize your 3 permits. This requires HQ2. You're using 1 base, and it'll get you $90,000 in profit. You're going to be making 800 rats per day. Your balance is going to be 730.52, 100,000, and you're going to be going through a lot of drinking water, a lot of coffee, and a lot of overalls to make all of this. So you can be like, okay, so go back to my empire. And, and he's like, you know what? I want to compare this. Okay, so this is making 93,000. This is my current empire of making 10,000. You know what? I think I like this one. This is what I'm going to build towards. And you can make as many as you want. You can go in here and manage, and you can create more empires. and you can have different types of base loadouts and stuff, and you can compare them pretty quickly to see what is a good answer for all of that. So highly recommend this. Definitely check it out. Okay, so going back to the resources, there's lots of other stuff to check out. They got a bunch of different things you can look at, but this is a way to easily plan out and mess around with and see what kind of bases on different. Like, what if we use one permit on every single planet? In like, what is the best way to maximize our time? Like, looking at this, you can look at what is the cost to get to the not max rations. It's like what it would take to build all of this. So this costs about 1.3. We already know that we have one of these, so 17. We don't need a core module. We have 15 of these. We already have one of these, and we already built 2 of these. So this is cost about 1.2. So for a $1 million loan, you can easily have this set up, and this is currently what I'm looking at. So it only took me a few days to get the 25 required shipping contracts, and this to be able to, you have an ROI of 13 days. So if you have a $1 million loan, you make all your money back in 13 days. And if it's a month-long loan, that means you're be able to profit and get all that money back for the next project you want to build up to. So this is how you use community resources. There's plenty more to look through. I haven't really looked at all these yet. I will eventually, as I have time, because apparently you have a lot of time in this game to sit around and stare at numbers going up. So definitely check them out. And they have Discord servers for you to ask questions. I highly recommend them. There's lots of factions and corporations that are recruiting. There's, I believe, one in Antares that wants to give $750K to anyone that wants to move to Antares. So there's lots of things you want to. I highly recommend Unified Faction Operations. This seems to be the most active one. If you're Russian, you might want to check this one out too. I'm not Russian, so I don't know. But there's lots of stuff you can do in the game and check out and start building and stuff. So I will see y'all in the game.